So I'm mostly optimistic about the Thunderbolts movie. Keyword mostly. After watching the teaser trailer and the D23 trailer, I feel like we have a much better grasp at what this movie is trying to be. And if they actually manage to capture the tone that they're going for, then Thunderbolts could be a very, very fun movie. However, I do see some slight cracks regarding this project, contrasting statements from the cast, inconsistent tones, and the validity of this team even existing in the current phase of the MCU. We'll start with the cracks first, because there aren't that many. So, contrasting statements. Louis Pullman, who plays Bob, aka Robert Reynolds, aka Sentry, said in an interview that I think Jake Schreier really knocked it out of the park. I think it's really stylish and really grounded, and while also doing all the things that we love so much about the Marvel universe so well. So he says that it's really grounded, right? And after watching the trailers, that seems to check out. But on the flip side, David Harbour, who plays Red Guardian, aka Alexei, stated that our characters are going to interact with something that we don't really understand, and it fundamentally changes the course of the way things expand. That sounds a lot like Sentry, the Void, all of that supernatural power stuff is going to be explored at least a little bit in this movie. So then that kind of suggests that Thunderbolts won't be as grounded as we think it is, or as Lewis said it is. There could be a middle ground here where it is kind of grounded, or like more grounded than the average MCU movie, and it also explores Sentry and the Void and all this supernatural sci-fi stuff. That's probably what's going on here, but I just wanted to address my slight concern that this movie might be trying to do two very different things, right? Trying to be this really grounded film about these quote-unquote average people, or like average superheroes that don't really stand out, while also trying to, introduce the Sentry and the Void and all this supernatural power stuff. Because if the Sentry does go bonkers in this movie, then the Thunderbolts are just gonna get wiped out pretty much instantly. Like they won't stand a chance. So that's slightly concerning. I'm interested to see how they pull this off and give the Thunderbolts a chance to survive against the Sentry, which I'm guessing is going to be introduced or like birthed in this movie. So that's one little concern that I have. The second little concern that I have are the contrasting tones in the teaser trailer and the D23 trailer. Those two trailers are edited in such different ways, and personally I prefer the D23 vibe so much better, the more lighthearted, rhythmic, upbeat version of this film that was portrayed in that trailer. There was still gloomy stuff in the D23 trailer, but not as gloomy or as lost as I felt when I was watching the teaser trailer. To be honest, the teaser trailer didn't do much for me. There was a lot of action, but not that much substance, except for that beginning part where Yelena's, talking about how she feels like she's drifting through life without a purpose and that she doesn't feel fulfilled. That part was great, but then after that, there's just a lot of like explosions and gunshots and cars exploding. The second trailer though, that's what really pushed me to make this video. If the movie can uphold that same vibe that the trailer gave us, then this is gonna be like pretty much another Guardians of the Galaxy type movie, and I'm so ready for that, but with like a slightly darker edge to it. So yeah, my concern is that because those two trailers are so differently edited, I'm worried as to how the tone of the movie is actually gonna be, and if they're gonna be able to handle all the grim stuff with the more lighthearted stuff well, and if they can actually make it entertaining like the D23 trailer did, or if it's gonna be like more gloomy like the teaser trailer was. So slightly worried about the tones in this movie. Third little concern, I'm not sure what the purpose of the Thunderbolts are at this stage in the MCU, because people have mentioned this so many times, but if you look at the composition of the team, these are just people that just punch and shoot. John Walker has a shield, but he just mainly punches and shoots people. Yelena has those cool bracelets, but she also just kind of punches and shoots people. Red Guardian mainly just punches people. Bucky Barnes mostly punches and shoots people. Ghost can phase, but she also just kind of punches and shoots people. Taskmaster can copy people's movements, but I don't think she's gonna be here for that long. And Bob/Sentry, I don't know if he's gonna be the villain of this film or if he's gonna join the Thunderbolts. So what really is the purpose of this group if they all do such similar things? I think they actually will address that in the film, and that can be actually like a core element/struggle of the narrative. But I'm just worried as to where these characters will actually go after this film. Like, what's the future for them? Like, are they actually gonna be in Secret Wars and Doomsday? Because I don't see see them surviving either one of those events. They could help, for sure. They could be helpful, but surviving them, I'm not sure. I would love to see Red Guardian versus Doctor Doom, though. That would be so unfair. So yeah, those are my 3 little small concerns. Let's get to the good stuff now, because I really am excited to see this film, and I think it has a lot of potential. First things first, of course, this is a really good ensemble of people and characters. Maybe power-wise and ability-wise, they're pretty similar, but character-wise, they're all pretty different. Sure, Yelena and Ghost both punch and shoot, but Yelena's like this Russian assassin who was trained to kill all her life, and she has this really tragic backstory, and her sister, quote-unquote sister, died, and now she just feels lost. Ghost has a slightly different backstory. She's learning how to control that phase ability of hers, and that must be super scary for her. So I really hope they lean into the characters themselves rather than their abilities, which I think that's what they're doing based on the trailers, so that's great. I'm liking the chemistry that I'm seeing, the banter between Red Guardian and the Winter Soldier. I think they have really good chemistry and natural chemistry there. They're both super soldiers. That's great. They can bond over something. John Walker doesn't seem to like anyone in the group, so I love that aspect. Gives more spice and diversity. The comedy seems to be done pretty well so far from the footage that we've seen, and I feel like just from the trailers alone, we're starting to see this group forming and the potential that this group has, the chemistry together. So they all have similar abilities, but they're different people and different characters, so I hope they lean on that. Another reason why I'm really excited for this movie is because there's a potential that not everyone is coming out of this film alive. Because all these people do such similar things, maybe one way to balance this team out is to have some characters killed off. There are a whopping 3 super soldiers on the team: John Walker, Red Guardian, and Bucky Barnes. Surely one of them has to, kick the bucket, right? And Taskmaster was not featured that much in either trailers, and honestly, I don't really see what they can really do with that character that much in the future, so Taskmaster may very well bow out early on in the film. It's like their version of Slipknot from the Suicide Squad. I think Ghost is very safe, Yelena as well, but the rest are up on the chopping block. I think the personality of Bob is gonna be destroyed in this film, and Sentry will be birthed, and then maybe in the future installments they're gonna try to bring Bob back and suppress Sentry, so in a sense Bob will also die in this film, or maybe not. See, there's a lot of potential ways that this film can go. Maybe all of them survive, even Bob, and Bob suppresses Sentry and joins the Thunderbolts. That could be another way that this film could go, although I don't think that's very likely to happen, because then the team would be too unbalanced and it would be kind of redundant, because why send Bucky Barnes when you can just send the Sentry to wipe out a target? Sure, the Sentry wouldn't be as subtle as the Winter Soldier, but he could get it done much quicker, so I don't think the Sentry is going to join the Thunderbolts. Maybe he will eventually, but not right now. Definitely not right now. Him and Valentina will most likely be the villains of this movie. I'm guessing what's going to happen is that Valentina is going to send the Thunderbolts to capture Bob, but then maybe after finding out what Yelena wants to do with Bob, then they try and save him or rescue him, and that's when they start getting hunted down by all those CIA SWAT soldier people who are all probably working for Valentina. Valentina also has an assistant, Mel, who a lot of people are interested in, and who a lot of people think is going to be a much bigger role than she seems to be. So Mel's in the mix as well. I wonder what she's up to. But yeah, a lot of intrigue and mystery surrounding this film. So many ways that this film could go down. Here's another thing that gets me pretty hyped for the film: the color grading and the cinematography. Color grading wise, this film looks pretty darn unique. It's got a really dark color grading to it, and I really like it. However, I'm a little concerned that it's gonna get a little bit too much when we're actually watching the film, and that it might strain the eyes a little bit, but hopefully when we're actually watching the film, we'll just get used to the look of this movie. Cinematography wise, I'm seeing some really great shots and action sequences. That shot of Yelena gracefully falling off of that building, incredible cinematography, looks gorgeous. The action scene between Yelena, Ghost, and John Walker, very well done, very well shot. The lighting seems great for most of the sequences, and yeah, the camera movements and camera shots seem purposeful and dynamic. So really looking forward to the good cinematography that comes from this film. I'm really liking the performances given by the cast so far. Florence Pugh in this movie seems so lost and like she's yearning for something in her life. I love that approach to her in this film. John Walker just seems so down on his luck and just really out of it, but also just kind of also staying like goofy and upbeat. As we saw in the limo scene, he seems like pretty happy there, but also in other scenes he just seems so dejected. So I'm liking that like contrast there. Bucky seems just kind of over everything and just overwhelmed with something in particular. Red Guardian is just really happy to be there. He's a great contrast to all the other characters. You know, David Harbour plays that character very well and is so different from the Jim Hopper role from Stranger Things, right? So I like that. Taskmaster has got no lines. I really hope that... I don't know what they're gonna do with that character, honestly. She's mute. I'm not sure why they went down that route, but hard to be attached to a mute character. Not impossible, but I hope they do something with her. But hey, look at my man Bob. Loving the performance from Louis Pullman. He also played a character named Bob in Top Gun Maverick. Very similar personalities as well. The like goofy golden retriever who's kind of aloof. I love that line in the trailer where it's like, it's getting so tense in here. But yeah, I hope to see more of Sentry in the future. I don't think he's gonna be that featured in this movie. I think it's gonna be more so about Yelena and the other group of misfits. I think he's just kind of there to do like maybe one or two cool things and then dip. Like he'll be one of the main antagonists, but that's the thing. It's really hard because once Sentry is activated, they're all pretty much dead. So how do you give Sentry something cool to do while also not killing the Thunderbolts? You know, maybe he'll like destroy some buildings or something. But yeah, really interested to see how they pull that off. And yeah, this film has a lot of stuff going for it. I would say I'm more excited for this film than Captain America Brave New World, though I think that movie also has a unique vibe to it. I'm also super excited for Fantastic Four First Steps. I think that's probably my most anticipated Marvel project of 2025. Love the cast of that. And yeah, 2025 just seems to be a really good year for Marvel. And also for superhero movies and movies in general. Like, have you seen the lineup? It can make a grown person cry. That's all for me though. We'll have to keep seeing what this project offers. And yeah, mark your calendars. I think it's going to be a good one. What are your thoughts on Thunderbolts? Do you think it's going to be a good movie? Are you concerned about any particular element of it? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to read your responses. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.